go like worst case scenario. We've shot and he's got us into a guillotine. Which is your best side? Do you prefer to do it this way or that way?
Yeah, this side.
That's it? Okay, cool. So he's got us into his guillotine choke here. He's got his guard. So I wasn't able to take him down and get across the body, okay, which is my goal when I'm shooting. This could be on the ground. Maybe he's gone for like a hip bump type sweep and then he's wrapped it around again, or he's done something, he's got into this position here. So first things first, when I'm in this guillotine or any choke, I need to straight away try to take any pressure I can off my throat. Okay, because obviously I can be stuffing around out here doing all kinds of things, but if he's still choking me, he's still choking me. So I'm going to try and get one hand in and just take a little bit of pressure. Hold it tight for me. Yeah, I want to take this, yeah, get your hands together. Yeah, I want to take a little bit of pressure off. Now he doesn't have my arm free. So that means that it's actually easier to get the guillotine, but it's also easier for me to defend. It's a weird sort of paradox where, yes, it's easy to actually choke me, but it's also easy for me to escape. It's kind of a little bit strange, but we're going to use this free hand. So once I've taken the pressure off the choke slightly here, I'm going to try and run my legs inside his guard across his body. So I'm going to almost sprawl. So I'm going to come across this way and sprawl on my side. Now, when I do that, I want to make sure that my other leg is up high near his butt, not down here. Can you put a butterfly hook in with this foot for me? And now kick me over. And now he gets into a mounted guillotine and things just got way worse. So I'm in my guillotine here. He's got his hands locked. I managed to get one hand in just to take a little bit of pressure off. I run my legs to the opposite direction. I sprawl with this back leg up nice and close. If I can, in the same moment, I want to start to cross face with my free hand. Okay, so I'm going to run as I cross face. Here, hold tight, hold your guard closed, everything tight. Yep, and see this leg's nice and close. So now I get a butterfly hook with this leg. See, he can't do it. Okay, so the threat of getting swept now is much less, and I'm on my toes on this leg here. So for whatever reason, if I were losing my balance, I can dig into the floor here and I've got a little bit better posture. Now I go this way because when he's guillotining, his job is to try to get this elbow close to this hip. So if he's here, if he can crunch down that way and guillotine, it's much stronger. So I get my grip in, I'm hand fighting. As I run, I cross face, and I'm now opening this space up. Okay, and I'm holding on here. Now I want to get my hand here nice and deep and hold onto his lat and start driving my pressure in. Now his grip is much weaker. So now I'm not just going to pull against it. I'm going to start to shake here as I look up. Okay, and that starts to make his grip weak. Now from here, I'm going to push over as my head comes up, and I'm going to run back into guard, pinning that hand. Okay, so we can go over how to pass and all that in a moment, but for now we've gotten out of the choke. Okay, so I shot, something's happened, he's got his hands together, he's got me in the guillotine. So straight away, pressure in, hold the wrist, cross face as I run to the side. This leg up nice and tight. Don't want to give him a butterfly hook. I'm sprawling my weight heavy. Here, I start to drive in, shake as I look up to break the grip, and now I pop my head free. I plant his hand on the floor and come back into my guard. All right, cool. Let's just do that for now, and then so again, he's got me in the guillotine. I'm driving into it. I don't want to back out and crunch my neck up even more, so I actually go into the guillotine first. Okay, I'm going to try to reach for his head. Now, some people here, you can actually sometimes submit from within the guard. So you'll often see people at this point here will tripod up and they'll drive in, and it's almost like you're doing a Von Flue, but from inside the guard. Okay, so you might have that option there. So you're in the guillotine, hand fight. Remember, guillotines are sort of like a footlock. You want to go into it a bit more, like you're putting the boot on with a straight footlock. This time you're putting your neck in, tripod up, and you want your shoulder under their jaw. And now here, I just pressure in and I hold. So that might work. Okay, if it doesn't, so we hand fight on the guillotine, cross face as we run across the body, sprawl, and we're keeping that leg tight towards the butt. We're pressuring up into the back of the shoulder as we start to shake to break that grip. Now, as we break that, we're going to push this to the floor as we come back into the guard, but we're going to try and pass it under his body to this free hand. So as we plant, now I'm going to run back the other way, and now his hand is through this side of his back. So now I'm going to pass it off to my other hand. And now I come back to center with one arm stuck. So now if this is a striking war, very good for position for me. Then I've got one hand to defend. If this is just straight up jiu-jitsu and there's no striking, from here I'm going to start to peel that grip. Because I've got his arm lock, he can't move his back too well, which means his hips don't move too well, which means it's easier to open the guard. So from here, I came back, break, and I'm going to try and go through crossface. And now if I can, I want to try to go straight into mount. Once I'm in mount, I'm going to hold my hand that was under the head on the same side. So I come over his body here, and now I'm going to give up the mount. Okay, so I'm actually going to sort of grapevine and roll. And as I do it, double up, straight into a shoulder submission. Okay. So here he's got me no arm, ahead in the guillotine. So I hand fight to take some of the pressure off initially. Crossface as I run across his body, driving in. Okay, sprawling with my leg blocking the hooks. Drive up and in, shake, 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 shake. Now I'm going to pass this hand off under his body as I come back the other way. Grab it with my free hand, come back to center. Now from here, I open the guard. I'm going to start to come in to sort of like a half guard position. If I can, I slide straight to mount, pass my hand over his head almost like I'm going for a guillotine myself. Grapevine and roll. As I do that, double team and submit. If it feels like it's not going to work, I can use my grapevine to swing him back over. I can give up on it, and now I can mount him and pin that arm there. And if this is MMA, up. All right. Is easier to finish this way. Yep, but it's easier to defend. And the reason is, so he's got more leverage on my neck here because there's no arm blocking his own choke. So a lot of people who aren't quite as big or as strong, they prefer to attack just necks on their own as opposed to a neck and an arm, because if I'm super strong now and I lock that down, I might be able to take some pressure off. So if I've just got the neck on its own, then it's much easier. But the neck on its own allows me this grip and that pressure alone. So even just being here, you know, we did that a second ago, that can be enough for me just to attack him there. So yes, it's easier to finish, but it's also easier to defend. It's a really weird situation. Now we're going to go to the arm in guillotine. So this one here, the exact same principles apply. It's just slightly harder to defend because we don't have the pressure and the leverage of their head, which is, as we know, so important. So this time he shoots his guillotine, but this is more common. The arm in one's more common off like a double leg, because I'm usually, as I shoot, he'll get my neck with one side and I'll get the underhook on the other, and he kind of ends up with that overhook. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did, but instead of trying to cross face up here, I'm going to try to wrap this hand under his back across the bottom of his ribs or his kidneys. So first things first, drive in, grab hold of the wrist. Now I'm going to try to make space so I can get my arm tucked in tight. Now what I want to do is I want to run towards that same side again, so going across his body, and as I do it, this hand's going to wrap around his kidneys. I want good shoulder pressure on his sternum or ribs. So as I run, I put this underneath here. Okay, and I'm still on my side, and I'm still blocking that hook from coming in there. Okay, now I'm nice and tight, and I'm driving up and in here now. Okay, once I'm in that position, looking up, shake, I can pass that hand straight off, come back and I'm in the same spot. Okay, Open the guard, nice and easy. Step. Now if you want, you could pass that over, go to side control, switch your hands and just hold that there. Okay, so you've got a nice pin on this hand here. Okay, and now you can sit and just play position for a little bit. If it was MMA, you want to just land some body shots, that's okay. If you wanted to, pass back to mount, grapevine, come on top, and submit. Okay, so once more. I shoot, bang, he gets the arm in. So as I shoot, if I can, I want to be ending in this position here. Hand fight, come in tight. So I'm putting my weight on my shoulder on his sternum. Is he pulling any faces? Can you breathe okay?
Yeah, it kind of hurts.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want pressure. Okay, now I come to the side, drop here, looking up, shake to break the grip. As I get my head free, I pass his arm into my free hand. Boom. Back to the middle. Okay, shake, 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 shake. Control. Control. And then when he's thinking about the shoulder lock, then I can switch to my own guillotine as well. Here. Okay? So take the thumb in. Yep. So, what I'm going to try and do from here, again, I'm trying to take the pressure off my neck as much as possible, and I'm driving in onto my shoulder here. Looking up as I drive in. Okay, so there's less pressure now on my neck. Okay, and I keep walking in here. Now just be wary that if you're in this tripod position, they may try to put butterfly hooks in to try and sweep. Okay, so you need to be aware of that. So if you feel the guard open, that's when we start to go across, and now we can start to work on our pass. You know, we might try to throw that up, take the back, things like that. We might be able to do these sorts of things depending on how they move. But let's just say we can't do that. So we drive in, boom, I'm hand fighting, putting the pressure on up here. Once I feel like I'm in a position where his choke is kind of negated due to my body position and my head position, I'm going to start to actually let go of the choking hand. If my other hand is free, yeah, so if it's a no-arm guillotine, I'm going to keep the hand on the guillotine side the whole time and use my free arm. But if it's an arm-in guillotine here, I need to be really certain that I've got good body position so that I can take this hand off. Now, I'm going to start to push on his legs, bring my feet in and shake. Like this. Once I do that and I feel my hips come free, here I'm going to do like a forward roll basically. Whoop, there we go. Here, into my bridge. Now I'm going to drive all my weight onto him as I flare this elbow and come back. Now that I'm across the body, there's no choke. And if he tries to hold on, then it's going to be worse for him. Okay, so usually he'll give it up at this point. Yeah, and then I'll just come to here. So this is much more of like a low percentage type move. I think Rampage used this successfully against someone in one of his fights way back in the day. So here I hand fight initially, shoulder pressure, I'm driving in. Okay, head up, trying to take the pressure off, shaking my hips, and then I push, and now I try to flip out and then come back. Yeah. Again, it's a little bit of a sort of a low percentage type move, but if you're desperate and you can't get the angle and it's super locked, sometimes it can work. Sometimes guys just bail altogether and like, I can tough it out for 10 seconds and just do this to get out and turn into a scramble.